So
Okay.
now we are recording. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Neepam Jain and I empower and facilitate souls to unleash their power within and create the life of their dreams. Today I'm very excited to have Tessa with us. Tessa is a career executive coach. Her Inner Pulse coaching program is designed to guide professionals to find purpose and regain well being. She has also been teaching and composing classical music for 30 years before she came into this business. She's an artist who loves hugging trees and enjoys swimming. So we would be diving in her journey and how to feel pain and be courageous. So over to you, dear Tessa.
Thank you, Neepam, and thank you so much for having me. It's a great pleasure, and I think that the title of this summit is absolutely fantastic. Alchemize your pain, because what does it mean? It means turn your pain into something very precious, And I think that's exactly what I would like to support as a general attitude. Usually we fight pain, we think something is wrong with us if we have pain, and we want to get rid of pain. And I'm suggesting, while that is of course all normal and human, and we all want that, but that there is a hidden potential in our pain that we can unleash and use, and thereby lead a much more meaningful and successful life. Um, this is like my core message.
So I would like to
So
know
maybe,
more how you came out of this, like feel your pain and then you have to. I mean, you have to really be courageous to feel your pain, and how by just feeling it and you can alchemize everything around.
okay, so maybe a little bit about my own story with
Yes,
pain.
yes.
Um, so when I was a teenager, I fell on my head several times. And as a result of that, I've had headaches all my life. And I also had other accidents, so I had pain. And at the same time, I also started to become a professional classical musician on stage. And many people don't know, but when you're performing, I was a flutist, you have positions like a top athlete that are really quite tough on the body.
Okay.
So my pain was one of the triggers to for a journey on how to go inward and deal differently with pain. So I didn't want to take any painkillers or, traditional things. So my journey took me to meditation, to exploring other cultures and the connection between cult and culture, the spiritual aspect, how that ties in with pain, how to perform at a very high level with and reduce the pain at the same time. So, what techniques are there? Mindset, this led me to mindset, all kinds of things. So has been my journey, and the journey has helped me, not fight against the pain, but actually what it did, the pain actually triggered a whole new life, a whole new potential that I would perhaps not have explored in the same way had I not had the pain. This led to also painting, having a second career as a visual artist. And then a few years ago, I got seriously ill. Now, this was pain, which is, very, very unpleasant and sometimes made me want to withdraw from life, but it wasn't threatening my life. And then I got seriously ill, and I thought, well, I've done everything right, why am I getting seriously ill? So I realized that I had learned to love others unconditionally, but not myself. And that was like the missing aspect of my journey. And what this means is that you love. So I, in a way, had to learn to love myself with occasional pain. It's much better than it used to be. It's different, but I still sometimes, simply because of my physical makeup, get
Mm-hmm.
some pains. Um, so now I was learning how to embrace all of me. So not only the aspects, of being a great musician with success internationally, being able to meditate, being a great artist, but there was another part of me that was still not, um, I don't know,
Happy.
was probably not fulfilled, and probably, but I didn't even know it. Okay.
Okay.
So then I stopped everything to, reflect on this and see what life wanted me to do. And that is the other key message I would like to share. So when there's pain or illness or any of these things, there is a message in there. And in my case, I was asked to do what later led to this career in executive coaching, something I could never ever have imagined myself with my background to do and to do successfully. And it gives me very deep pleasure because I really feel I can help people.
Wow. So means that that pain of yours was a kind of opportunity for you to transform you in some different person, which you didn't even know even yourself until you reached that point.
Exactly. Yes, that's the nature of pain. So there were phases looking back where I withdrew from life because when you have pain, you just want to kind of stop life and, withdraw and be very still. And I realized that actually my pain was always calling me to go out and connect with other people. So there's this other aspect that I always wondered why was I having headaches? Why did I fall on my head? I mean, I'd also had a shoulder injury, but I didn't have that much pain considering. And then maybe 20 years ago, somebody said, oh, headache is blocked love energy. And at the time, it kind of made sense, but it didn't really completely register. I didn't know what it meant. And now, in fact, preparing for this talk with you, I realized that, I got this message in a different way, but it was the same message when I got ill a few years ago. And so it was about, love and self-love. And that's why, in my case, I think it was headaches, And I think so where the pain is also perhaps telling us something, not in an easy or linear way, but I would suggest to everybody to connect to the pain and to actually talk to it like you talk to a friend. You say, so, why are you here? Why have you come to visit me? What is your message for me? I want to understand. I want to invite you, even if I'm having a really, really hard time, because of course I don't like pain.
Yes.
Start, or if you can't do that and you have another spiritual practice, ask whoever you want to ask in the spiritual world, help me to understand why this is here, what is trying to tell me, what is trying to compel me to do, that I'm not doing.
Right. That's really amazing. So, in your journey, like before you were a musician and an artist, and now you are coaching people to achieve different level in their life. So, what is few things which you find common in all your clients and all the people you deal with, that this is a major thing which they come across and they are not able to tackle it and understand it? How have you helped? Can you just let us know more deeply about it?
Okay, so I think basically, those few years ago when I started changing direction again, I also reflected on that and I realized that for me, there are like three key aspects to
Okay.
our journey. One is to know yourself. So, in other words, we sometimes think we know who we are. I thought I was a musician,
Right.
then I became an artist. Then so this changes all during all our lives. It can even change, you know, at the age of 70, 80. There's no limit to when that changes. Okay.
Okay. So be ready
So
to know yourself and transform according to it.
know yourself and love who you are. That was my missing element. So, you know, it's to use an analogy, if I were a tree, let's say, and I'm a
Mhm.
fig tree, okay? But for some reason, I'd much rather be an apple tree, okay? So I
Okay.
treat myself like an apple tree. I ask others to treat me like an apple tree. You know, the water accordingly, the sun, etc., etc. I will never become an apple tree, no matter how hard I try. But when I understand that I am actually a fig tree and I treat myself accordingly, so I give the fig tree what it needs to blossom, to thrive, then I can grow fruit and the fruit will feed others, you know? So that the loving who I
Hi.
am is like the essential ingredient after knowing who I am to make me thrive. And the third thing that so there are three things,
Yeah.
is create what matters. So
Wow. I
you know
love it.
yourself, you love who you are, but if you really want to thrive and transform pain, challenges, um, crises, it's creating what matters. So it's going beyond those, you know, limitations, or it's like the creating what matters is like the big, is using all the energy. So the love is the big energy that you have at your, you know, available, and the
Yes.
creating what matters is using that energy. And I think if we all did that, maybe we would be living in a quite a good world.
Yes, I just love that. Create what matters. I mean, and knowing your own self. So, like, can you tell me how did you how one can know? I mean, if you will ask me, I'll say, oh, I know myself. But then there's way more deeper layers. We just superficially say that, oh, I know myself. So is there some key some pointers or something you will tell our viewers that how they can see whether they really know themselves or they are just superficially saying that, oh, I know myself, I love myself, and I'm creating what really matters. But when they ask themselves the questions, they really come to know, oh, it's not me, it's I'm doing it for my family, I'm doing it because I want to be someone else. So if you can just show your
Okay,
beautiful
obviously,
insight about it.
yes. Okay, so obviously this is an an in-depth process which takes time. But you know, I think the first question is, I think you will feel deep inside whether you're really in the right place for the moment. As I said, there's always more to come. So if you're
Yes.
feeling, you know, fulfilled and like you're living a purpose, I would say you're on a good track.
Okay.
Now,
Or maybe through an
indicators,
example of your client. I mean, if you can just share with our viewers any of your client, how you have worked and you have shown them what exactly they were meant to be and where they are, and they have transformed their life. So I think that would be
yes, I'm happy to help. So that would be the other key that I would look at. Life has a way of nudging us. Okay, so if things are going well, you're fine, da 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 da, and you know, but there's maybe that little voice in the back saying, "Oh, but I would love to do this, or I'd love to do that, but I can't do it." So life, I have found, really has a way of nudging us. And that's where it's really important to understand that pain, life, crisis, losing your job are here to help. So let me give you an example of this.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
I had a client who was a lift and elevator engineer. So he
Okay.
was working technically on what do you call it? You know, setting up elevators. And
Right.
then he moved through his career. He moved forward, and he became a manager. Okay, so
Hmm.
so that he was not doing it physically himself anymore. Just before that, he had had a major back operation, meaning
Okay.
that, you know, he wasn't able to move in the same way that he had before. Now, in this management position, he was fine with the back. He wasn't in pain, he was fine. But in his management position, he had to deal with his people that he had in his team having injuries, serious injuries through their work, and he just, that wasn't for him. He felt too responsible, even though he wasn't responsible. But so he stepped down. He told the company, I don't want to do this anymore. They put him back in a technician role, and he started having problems again. And as a result of that, the company actually laid him off. Okay, so he came to me and he thought he was going to have to go or to, there's like in Switzerland, there's like a system whereby if you're physically handicapped, you can get some benefits because you can't work. But it's all very a bit humiliating to have to do that, and nobody likes doing it. If you have to, you have to. But so anyway, that was the plan. The company thought that was what he was going to do, and we started discussing. And I said to him, well, actually, if we look at your life, what you really want to be doing is not working on lifts, right? You want to be managing people. And he said, yes, that's really what I want to do. And then I wouldn't have any problems. So I suggested, now he was willing to go along. This is where a coach is so important, because he or she holds the space to believe. So I believed that he could find this kind of job, right? When he didn't know. But of course, he had to trust me as well and himself. So he decided, and I said, let's try for you to get the job you really want, and let's not even go down the route of going to this government agency, having to go and see 100 doctors, going through all these treadmills until you finally, maybe in a year's time, get some money, and you will be exhausted and feeling very bad. He said yes. So that was number one. The most important is like setting the intention. So understanding who I am, setting the intention. Then I helped him with resources, so things that I've built and learned with mindset techniques. So I made him relax. I did a little exercise with him where he relaxed, made him visualize himself being, successful. You don't have to imagine the exact thing, just you are successful. He went back, he had started yoga, he went back to doing yoga. Well, after 3 months, he had exactly what he wanted. And he had no, he wasn't in pain, he didn't have any health problems. I mean, he could have gone down the other route, and probably most people would
Yes,
have.
yes. We generally, normally, everybody take the other way only. I mean, because they think it's just superficial. But then here it is, you dealt it with a root cause, whatever the root cause was there, and he wasn't happy. He wasn't being himself, right?
Exactly. And so, in a way, this pain was asking him to step up, not step
Yes,
down. We
right.
usually see it as a way of stepping down, of, oh, I mustn't challenge myself too much, because otherwise the pain will come. I mustn't do too much. But if you step up to your real greatness, I would call it,
Yes.
that full potential,
Breaking
then
your comfort zone and stepping up in your world, right?
yes, exactly. Yes, yes.
Yes. That was really an amazing share. And yeah, how we people tend to take our pains and our as a setbacks in our life, and then we don't look forward. I mean, we always use it as a kind of shielding. Oh, I have a pain and I can't do this, I can't do that. But then how beautifully you have explained us, Tessa, out here, that just knowing yourself, your journey, and looking at the pain in a from a different angle. Okay, what is this pain trying to teach us, can change the game, your life game.
Absolutely. And the fascinating thing is, once you're really clear on that, I mean, it often happens very quickly. It didn't take him a year to find that, you know. It could have, but if we had been looking for the wrong thing, maybe it would have taken a year, you know. You just
It would have definitely taken a year for him to reach, maybe because still he was not going through the life purpose, through his knowing what is he here to be like, what is his life purpose. And I think in today's scenario, this is what is much required. We all should know, create.
I agree. I think our current world crisis is asking us as humans exactly that, you know, to to um, to activate, to tap into that hidden potential, which
Exactly.
is about love ultimately in some form,
Yes.
you
And
know?
ascend ourselves from the places where we are, actually. That is the need of the time, even.
Yeah. So
So,
I think,
any last message you would like to tell our viewers out here that they should, I mean, which they can pursue all through their life? Any just a quote or a message?
yes, I think what is really, really important is never give up. You know, you see, me at my age, I started a completely new career. You know,
Yes.
I have a friend who, at the age of almost 70, this is another fascinating story about potential being activated. I don't know if we have time.
No, please, I would
Um,
like to extend it few more minutes, and I would like to really listen to it because I think this is what is most required, because we all take it age as our barrier, like, oh, I'm this 50 or 60 or 70, and at least at the age of 70 nobody would like to do anything or start a new journey.
exactly. So this is a friend of mine. Um, when I met her, she was an artist. She had worked as a interior designer. Um, she'd always wanted to be a lecturer, but she also had a stammer all her life. So, you know, there was no way she was going to get up there in front of people and start talking, you know. And then she lost her job once again, hardship struck. She lost her job with the interior designer. And so she thought, well, to regroup, she went to see a friend in Poland just to spend some time, you know, reflecting, see what she could do. Well, she got in touch. Somebody knew somebody from the what do you call it, the School of Design, the University of Design there, and they thought, you know, that she was an interesting person, and they asked her to do a lecture. And she was like, okay. And very bravely, she accepted the challenge because it's something she had always wanted to do. Now, the interesting thing, now, this is the key, my key message is, first of all, she was almost 70. Secondly, it was through hardship. And thirdly, she was courageous enough to get up there. But the miracle happened when she started talking. She had no stammer.
Oh my God, I'm having goosebumps. It's actually magical.
Yes, so I think those are, and those are just, it's so important. That's my message, to not give up. You may think, you know, I went through phases where I was, you know, so in pain, or things were difficult, and now looking back, I am so grateful even for that, even though it was, you know, look at where I am now. I haven't ever been better, you know. And I'm so happy to share this with you across way over there. You
Yes.
know, I'm in Switzerland
And
here.
exactly, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity with you, Tessa, that you taught me that never give up, never give in, and this age is not a barrier. You can start anywhere and have that courage to feel your pains. So it was really great having you here, and we all viewers have a lovely opportunity from Tessa. She's gifting us with a freebie which you all can avail by clicking on the description below. The link is provided in the description below. Please click it and avail this lovely opportunity from her. Thank you. Love you, Tessa, for there. Thank you, listeners, for listening to us. It was pleasure being with you all. Thank you.
Thank you also for allowing me to share.
Thank you.